Steve Jewin, MMA Mania.
How's it going? It's Alex.
Hey, Alex.
I have Fernando on the line. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
No problem. First of all, how's the training camp going? How's everything looking right now?
It's great. You know, I had a great 8 weeks of training. The only really tough part was Thanksgiving and Christmas, not being able to enjoy all the food. But everything went great, man. I feel great, and I'm ready to get out there and put on a show for everybody.
There's no doubt you're going to do that, because the last two fights you put on a show, you upset, well, at least by the odds makers, you upset two guys that were predicted to beat you, and you beat Carl Parisian and the Psycho Karl Lamasu quite handily. So how do you plan to make it 3 in a row going against Mariusz Zaromskis?
Just, you know, going out there and putting on the show, like just perform the way I do, work my technique like I've been trained to do, you know, and I think when I go out there like that and I put it all on the line, I give people what they want to see. They love great fights, and one of my biggest things that I feel I do the best is come up with a game plan for myself, not only to prepare myself for the fight, but during the fight as well. If I see something that he's doing differently, then I can make the corrections as I'm in there. And I'm ready, man. I'm pumped up for this fight.
Yeah, well, you may not have to make any corrections if you get him out of there as quick as you did Carl Parisian, but I have to ask you a question about that, because you did have a THC suspension right after that fight. So was the result overturned or not? Because I'm not really sure on that.
No, it wasn't. I did get fined. As far as I know, I didn't get turned over. I think that's pretty much it. I had the fine, and basically I got chewed out, man. I got chewed out pretty bad on it, and you know, but it's one of those things, you know, everybody's got their own opinion on the matter, but I can't do it for the sport, and you know, for my fights and stuff. So my fighting is more important to me than that, you know, and I have a little bit tougher time sleeping and stuff, but you know, it is what it is, and my fighting is more important. So I gotta do what I have to still be able to compete.
So what you're saying basically is there's no chance you'll be popped again after this fight.
No. Just we spoke about it, and then they said, look, I have my license, everything, you know, and it's. For me, it's medicine. I have a tough time sleeping, and you know, obviously with the fighting too, you get a lot of injuries. But if it's gonna be, I told them, you know, if it's gonna be an issue where, you know, I can't fight and things like that, then I'll make the sacrifices. I've made sacrifices before on other things, and you know, I know people view it differently, and you know, everybody's entitled to their own opinion, and so if it's something that I got to make a sacrifice on, then I'll do it, you know.
Well, I understand completely, but I want to take it on a different tack and get off of that subject. I want to know how you got the name the Menifee Maniac, because that's one of my favorite names in Bellator right now.
At the time I was training with Chris Brennan, and he had a girl. She was a brown belt at the time, Erica Montoya. And we were all just messing around one day in the room. We're all just playing, and for some reason I can't remember what it was, but I showed up late and I was rushing to get down to training, and some came up where like I said something like, I was coming down here and rushing like a maniac or something like that. And she's like, "Where are you from?" I was like, "Oh, Menifee." She's like, "Oh, so you're the Menifee Maniac, huh?" And then from there, it just stuck, man. I was like, "Hey, that's pretty tight." I was like, "I'm gonna, you know, rep my name, you know, like that's where I grew up, you know." So it just stayed. You know, after that, the Menifee Maniac was born.
Yes, indeed, and that's a great name. It's a great story too. So you'll be looking to make it 3 in a row as the Menifee Maniac coming up on Friday. But obviously, you know, Mariusz Zaromskis, just like Carl Parisian and just like Karl Lamasu, is a really tough test. So what do you see when you look at Mariusz Zaromskis? Do you watch film? Do you watch his previous fights? What do you see when you scout him?
Yeah, I mean, I try to watch some of the film just to kind of see the angles that he takes, and and just his style, you know, like, what's some of the things that I can capitalize on. And, you know, I found some things that I could definitely exploit. And, you know, I do a little bit of that, but not too much, just because you don't know what, you know, he might learn something, you know, the week of the fight and he pulls it off that night, you know, you never know. So, I just kind of get like a little blueprint of what I want to do and, you know, how his movement is, and just kind of look for that while we're fighting. And if he makes those little mistakes, and I try to capitalize on that as we're going.
Fair enough. Now, do you think if you get this third win in a row that it puts you in line to fight Douglas Lima?
You know, I definitely try to take them as they come. I don't put that pressure on myself. You know, I've said before, I was 2 fights ago, I was about ready for retirement. So, you know, I try to enjoy every single fight that I have until I don't do it no more. And, I'm, you know, hoping I get the title shot soon, but it don't really matter to me who they give me. I'll be in there and prepared well. And, I don't know, Lima's got a tough test ahead of him with whether he beats Daly or he beats Alex. I think those guys, you know, they're tough competitors, and they're a big threat to his title. And from what I remember, he hasn't fought in a while, so you know he can come in with some ring rust. So we'll see.
Yeah, that's right. There's a murderer's row of guys that are waiting to face him, but you could be one of those guys yourself. And as you mentioned, you know, just a while ago, you were thinking about career retirement. You had the losses to Max Griffin and David Mitchell, and then turned it around and turned in 2 spectacular performances in Bellator. So what changed for you? What was the career renaissance that got you to where you are now?
You know, I think, well, the retirement part was just because of not being able to make it for some time, but, and, you know, putting my family through those tough times. You know, we're struggling, and that's the only reason I was considering it. But I always knew I could compete with these guys, and training with the guys that I do every day. That's what kept me in it. You know, I think as a fighter, you know, I've, you know, blood, sweat, and tears. That's not a lie. You know, I've cried it out a couple times where I kind of broke, and, you know, that's where you find your true potential, and if you can come out of that. And, for me, like, the thing is, you know, once they gave me the opportunity, I knew it was basically my destiny to be able to do this, and giving me the opportunity to fight the best guys in the world now, that takes all the pressure off of me, because I know the type of fighter that I am and the kind of performances that I put on, that no matter what, win, lose, or draw, they're going to keep me, because I know I can fight like that, you know, and they're going to want to put on good shows all the time. And that's kind of the thing I was just hoping for, like, man, get me in here, let me show you what I can do, and you know, then this would be my career, and it's happened. So, I'm just excited, man. I'm really happy, and I'm pumped, man. I get to compete with these guys, and knowing that I can beat them is a big advantage for me.
Well, you've shown it, you know, 2 straight wins. Like I said, you're looking for the third coming up on January 16th at the Pichinga Resort and Casino. Now, how far is that from Menifee? Is this like in your backyard?
Oh yeah, it's like 15 minutes away. It's not far at all. We live here in Marietta now. I'm from Menifee. That's all my family and everybody's from there. And, I'm actually trying to get a house out there someday. It's a nice little area. It's a little bit outside of town. It's more quiet. But, man, growing up there was tough, man. There's a lot of tough, scrappy kids in that area. So, you know, I'm very, very proud of where I come from. And, you know, I try to represent my hometown every time. People come out here to face me, or whether I go somewhere else, it doesn't really matter. The advantage, I think, is that I get to sleep in my bed, you know. But I try to put on a performance no matter what.
Yeah, I will say you're right, though. It's an advantage for you, because both of your last 2 Bellator fights have been in Temecula, and this is the third one. Yeah. So I'm starting to wonder if I'm going to get to see you somewhere else besides Temecula.
Yeah, I think they like me here just because, you know, we bring in a big crowd. Virgil Zwicker, also one of my teammates, we started pretty much around the same time at Quest. He's fighting Houston Alexander, and you know, we bring in a pretty good amount of people in to come watch us fight, and it makes for a good atmosphere, and you know, it gets me pumped up, man. I like being able to put on a show for my fans and my family. You know, everybody that comes out to support us is huge for us, and man, it just makes it that much better. You know, get that victory, and it's around the people that I grew up with. You know, friends, family, and loved ones.
Well, speaking of Virgil Swicker, since he's on the card and it's a rematch of the fight that went to a draw last year, what are your thoughts right now as you help him and he helps you and you both prepare for this card? Do you think he's going to be able to take that victory next Friday night?
I think so. I think, you know, he took it on a week's notice and did really well against Houston. I think now, and you know, Houston was on a full training camp. I think now with him having a full training camp and, you know, being able to train like we did, he's going to show what he can really do. And, I definitely think we're both going to come out with the victories.
For the hometown crowd in Temecula, California, they'll get to see two of their favorite local fighters put on a big showcase and get big wins. But if that happens, you know, that's what we'll look forward to watching. But you never know how it's going to go in the cage. For sure.
We never know. But one thing for sure, it's going to be exciting fights, and they're going to be exciting. We trained hard, and they're going the fans and the home crowd's going to get exactly what they paid for, an exciting fight. I've said it from the beginning when they showed me the card. I was like, man, from top to bottom, every single fight's going to be sick. So whether it be me, Virgil, and you know, Bubba Jenkins and the guys that are on the card, Strauss and Pitbull. So top to bottom, they're going to get a show for sure.
It's definitely a sick card. We're looking forward to it. The Pachinga Resort and Casino on January 16th in Temecula, California. And before we wrap it up, I want to give you a chance, Fernando, to plug anything you want to plug, sponsors and social media. Go ahead.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I want to give a special thanks to Clinch Gear, Booster, who helped me out with my gear and stuff like that, my gloves, shin guards, Nutrition Zone. These guys helped me tremendously with my diet this time around. I feel really confident on that, and you know, all the guys that have helped me on the way up, you know, Team Quest, Steve Harriman, he's the one who got me into this game from the beginning and carried me on all the way through here to Bellator 2. So I got a long list, man, but I want to, you know, say thank you to Chris Brennan, Corey Cass, Zach Light, and Christian Printa, also, who helped me on to Bellator. And that's it for now, man. Hopefully I'll get shoot some people out in the cage.
All right, that sounds good. We'll look forward to seeing you on January 16th. And Fernando, thank you for the time today, and have a good fight next week.
Thank you.
All right, and thank you, Alex, for connecting the call.
No problem, Steve.
All right, talk to you later.